Right then, today I'm going to be continuing my How to Fix the Franchise series. I kickstarted this with the Predator franchise and everyone seemed to really like it. Basically, what I'm going to do is kind of discuss a somewhat dying franchise in my eyes, whether this is from box office results or critic feedback or just fan response. And also simply just my opinion, really. So this is all just purely my opinion. I'm going to break down and discuss a franchise and why I think it's dying. And then I'm going to pitch how to fix it. So it's kind of like a movie pitch, one could say. And today, you read from the title, it's the Jurassic Park franchise. And I know, good God, everyone's going to be jumping at me. Everyone's saying that they love Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I know it has its fans, I know it has its supporters, but for me, and also for a lot of people, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom really didn't deliver what it claimed to be. And unfortunately, when you then look back at the other sequels that have been released in the franchise on a whole, they have been very much on the decline in quality. Jurassic Park as a film was truly amazing. It stands up for both adults and children. Adults and children can enjoy this film together because it added scenes which crossed generations and generations and allowed both age groups to experience both true horror but also true wonder at what you were seeing, and it captured that in a very unique way. One could say it was lightning in a bottle, but you know, it is something which you can replicate again. You had the truly terrifying scenes of the raptors in the kitchen, which would have struck fear in the hearts of both adults and children. Potentially not, full-blown fear in adults, but you get what I'm saying. It was its ability to capture those kind of scenes and portray them in just the right way for both age groups, which made it a universal property for people to enjoy. And that's a true testament to the filmmakers behind it. It's a very good film. And then unfortunately, we go on a steep decline from there. Now, what you think of the sequels, it doesn't really matter too much, but most people can universally agree that they were on a steep decline. And then enter a good few years down the line, then we enter Jurassic World, which for me, I really enjoyed it, and I will explain why. As someone who watched Jurassic Park as a child and then revisited Jurassic World, I was able to look at it and go, this is a film which is there to recapture that age of wonder, which I felt when I watched Jurassic Park. It's there to get a new generation in and excited about dinosaurs. But it was also very good at targeting its adult audience who had previously watched it as a child. They know that the generations would have changed and they market it as such. They have things within the movie which portray these modern sensibilities, people looking at things through their phones, people getting bored of dinosaurs because they've seen them all before. And these are things which genuinely would happen and, look, do happen to this day. People don't even know what a VHS player is, for goodness sake. And if you were to give them a DVD, again, most people would probably go, what the hell is this, when you give it to a child, because they're used to streaming. It's that insane speed at which technology has developed and people's disregard for the old and the amazing wonder which technology initially was, which is portrayed very well in Jurassic World. And I like Jurassic World for what it was. It wasn't bad by any stretch. It wasn't a Oscar-winning performance by any stretch, by any of them, but it was fun, it knew its target audience, and it executed it well. It wasn't perfect, but it executed it very well. And then you have Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which is essentially, and I've done a review on it, I'm not going to review it again drastically here or there, but it's essentially two films in one, and they tried to do too much with it. Again, I'm not going to go too much into it. So why do I think that the franchise has gone steadily downhill? Well, if you're looking at movie by movie, they have continually played on the same tropes which the first and the second one have introduced. And you've got to get away from that. You have to escape those tropes. You cannot continuously replay them. It was okay to replay it for Jurassic World because you were getting a new generation involved. It wasn't good, of course, for the previous generations which had seen it all before, but even still, no one had seen a live theme park with dinosaurs, so there was still some new elements. But you've got to escape those tropes. You have to break that mold. And that's one of the main key differences here, is that they never have escaped that. They've continuously played on these tropes and basically made exactly the same movie time and time again. Everything after the first two is exactly the same movie, whether you choose to admit it or not. They're basically the same movie. Oh, we're going to the park. Oh no, we're going to an island. Oh, we're going to the park. Oh no, we're going to an island. They need to do something with it. And in a world where you're able to bring dinosaurs back to life, good God, there's an awful lot you can do with this. And they almost did this in Jurassic World, and they almost did this in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, but they need to double down. Guys, the studio here, they have to double down, and they just have to commit and do it. And what I mean by that, and how I think they can go about essentially saving the franchise, I know it's not saving, but you get what I mean, is explore the Dr. Wu mad scientist Frankenstein creation angle. We saw it in Jurassic World, and it was awesome. This is a man that entered into this field with such pure conviction, such innocent conviction, and has been twisted and changed and corrupted by his own genius. And we saw that in Jurassic World. And that was one of the best things about that film for me. And seeing just a little tease of what he had created behind closed doors that no one knew about, because it was top secret and he didn't have to tell you, because he was the man in charge and he was the brains behind the entire operation. And again, we see it a little bit more in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. It's there for like 2 minutes, if that. This is an angle that really does need to be explored, because not only do you then escape the same tropes which have been played over and over and over in this franchise. Oh, dinosaurs. Oh, this. Oh, that. I get that it's Jurassic World. I understand it is about dinosaurs. But you can also have those dinosaurs peppered in with brand new creations and a mad scientist angle. You can turn something which was extremely child friendly in Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and you can turn it into something which is then, again, much like the first one, aimed at both adults and children. If you have this mad scientist and his creations, his abominations, that, I think, would truly grip the adult audience, which, to be fair, you have to capture them to get them to take their children in. If the adults are not that interested, they're not going to go on repeat viewings. They will take their children once and they will say, "Did you enjoy that, little Jim Bob? Oh, you did? Good. We're never seeing it again. We'll wait for home release, mate." For repeat viewings with children and a children's movie, you have to capture their parents. And if you can approach it from that mad scientist angle, that is how I believe you can save this franchise. Now, what is my movie pitch? I don't have a clear-cut movie pitch for this. I think, with respect to Fallen Kingdom, they've set it on a path which I believe is going to be quite difficult to course correct, because they've essentially just released dinosaurs into the world at large. There's not that many, but they're still around. So it's a bit difficult to really know how you can course correct that. If it was from Jurassic World, it would be a much easier pitch. It would have been everything that you saw at the first half of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, that island exploration, but then continued it. That would have been a 2.5 hour movie, or a 2 hour 20-minute movie for me. But upon doing so, you then would have entered into Dr. Wu's lab, because no one's there now. They didn't take everything with them. They took the most important embryos and things like that, but there were still some things left over. And I think if they had gotten in there and given that more time to flesh it out in Fallen Kingdom, then that would have been truly awesome. You would have seen the spinal columns, the blueprints, the redundant specimens that are still going around. And then, at the end of the movie, maybe a dedicated 20 minutes, we then enter into Dr. Wu's brand new lab. And then it sets it all up. So yes, you have the mad, maniacal businessman approach which we see in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Again, horrendous motivations. There's no motivation there at all. And then he just becomes a murderer. It doesn't make any sense. But we then have that still there. It's still there. But then looming for the last 20 minutes, we then have the reason why. The overseer behind it all is this Dr. Wu, this mad scientist. And then that sets it up for a third movie, which can then really explore that and open it up. Now, unfortunately, because they've gone on this particular path, it is difficult to know how to course correct it completely. You would have to really push for that. You'd have to... It would be such a big tonal shift. It is really difficult to then move that forwards without the setup like I would have done. So I guess my pitch realistically is the first half of what we saw in Fallen Kingdom. They go to the island. Their aim is to save all the dinosaurs. That is their aim. But we get hints of the deception, the mercenaries. And then they're on the island. We see them on the island for longer. They're exploring through the old Jurassic World facilities. But they were there before. They knew what was going on. They were there, so they know that there's something still untoward happening. And we see Owen and pals open the doors and explore the redundant, and it is redundant now. They've been empty for a really, really long time. The old laboratories where Dr. Wu was practicing his mad scientist biology. With something like genetic coding in a franchise, you can go anywhere with it. But I don't think you can go that far. It still has to be bound by some rules. So that's kind of my pitch. That's how I think you can save this franchise. Unfortunately, I believe that realistically, you've sent it on a path now which is very difficult to course correct. It'd be interesting to see what they do with a third film. But guys, what do you think? I know a lot of people really liked Fallen Kingdom, and I know this video will probably get a whole bunch of hate, but would you have preferred to go down a mad scientist angle? I know my pitch potentially wasn't as fleshed out as it could have been, but like I say, it's very difficult to pitch this given the circumstances of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So, would you have much preferred a mad scientist approach? Did you like seeing Dr. Wu change and go mad with power? And would you like to explore that more? Do you think that would be a more compelling avenue to go storytelling wise? Or do you enjoy the way they have gone? Like I say, if you break them down, they're essentially just replaying the tropes of the first and the second film, which I think is a massive shame. And I know they've set something up, quite unique for the third one. But unfortunately, I do genuinely believe the damage is done. And with respect to the comments coming through on various reviews, I think that speaks volumes as well. Whereas Jurassic World was quite universally liked. It still had some haters. It was still universally liked. This one is definitely splitting people quite close to down the middle. But guys, I want to hear your thoughts. Let me know down below in the comment section. I know this video was not as concise as my previous one, the Predator one, but if you have another franchise that you think needs course correcting, please do leave that down below in the comment section. I will set around coming up with my own pitch to how to course correct it. But let me know down below in the comment section. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. As always guys, I've been Mr. H, and I will catch you in the next video.